This is my 2-month review on the new Apple MacBook Pro with the M1 chip. I think you should not get the new MacBook with the M1 chip if you're a photographer or a filmmaker who has a hybrid workflow, and here's why. This is the first generation Apple product with the M1 chip, and it will only get better in the future. But the question is, should you wait for the new one? Or should you get this one? So let's get something out of the way. The new M1 MacBook Pros are fantastic if you use the apps that are optimized for Apple or core Apple app. But if you're a hybrid user, like I am, who has a hybrid workflow for photography and filmmaking, then right now, it might not be a good idea for you to invest in this computer. So the question is, are you someone who is completely invested in the Apple ecosystem? Or are you someone like me who's a hybrid user? Okay, hold on. Let's define what a hybrid user means. It means that I use a combination of Apple apps and Adobe products in my photography and filmmaking workflow. I'm also not confined to the Mac optimized softwares in my workflow. Currently, Adobe Premiere Pro has a beta version out for video editing on Apple Silicon products, but it's still in beta, and so it's not the best optimized. This took about 10 to 15 minutes to just open up after I installed it, so it took a while. So I've been working on the current video on the iMac. I'm gonna open the same video in the beta version and edit it there so I can actually review it firsthand. The video is so choppy that it cannot even catch up even on half. It's on half right now. Normally I will keep it on 1/4 or half, and it still cannot catch up. Yeah, this is not something I like at all. I would rather just edit on the regular version than the beta version. This is just wasting a lot of time. So the beta version definitely did not work for me. When I use the Rosetta version of Premiere Pro, it works well, but not super fast. I would say it is about the same or maybe just slightly faster than my iMac. It is not super fast like a video editing software that you might use that is meant for the Apple ecosystem, like the Final Cut Pro. I've heard Final Cut Pro actually is really fast on the Apple Silicon products. But for myself, who uses a combination of these products, the workflow has not been that fast. I also used Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop on this MacBook Pro, and they run just fine. I mean, they're not super fast or super slow. They run just the way they would on my iMac, so it was not a loss in productivity for me. Before we dive into the rest of the video, if you think you're getting value out of this and if you think this is helping you, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be notified for all of my future videos, because I create a lot of videos on photography, filmmaking, and also gardening. So let's talk a little bit about the battery life. The battery life on this is freaking fantastic. It is absolutely amazing. I have never used any other laptop with this amazing of a battery life. I have not charged the laptop for about 4 days and it still has a bar going. And this is with me running products that require a lot of battery life from it. For example, I've used Adobe Premiere Pro, I've used Adobe Lightroom, and also Adobe Photoshop. So these are apps that require a whole lot of battery power, but still I've had the computer go without charging for 3 to 4 days. Yes, it is absolutely fantastic. I can't even imagine how convenient and amazing this will be to travel with. It would be fantastic when I don't have to worry about charging it constantly. So I absolutely love the battery life. The next thing is ports. So when I got the computer and I did an unboxing video, so when I saw that it only had 2 ports, which are USB-C, I was kind of unsure how much it would affect me. But I didn't realize then, for my previous laptop, I had a MagSafe connector, which was separate from my ports. On this one, these are the only 2 ports. So if you're charging from one port, you only have one other port remaining to charge anything else or to plug in anything else, unless you get a dongle. Yes, the amazing dongle life. I still have not bought a dongle because I have been trying to test the computer out without actually adding another dongle to it. I wanted to see how much I miss different connectors. I also have to say that it does not have SD card holder. So if you are using this primarily to edit something, you will have to get a dongle because you will need one for SD card. So the way my workflow works is I will dump everything using my iMac on a network drive. I have a Synology NAS drive that is connected to my network, which I can work off of from any device on my network. I absolutely love that, by the way. And I would highly recommend for anyone working with larger files like 4K footage or raw photo. It has genuinely changed my life and my workflow, made it so much easier. We can talk about that more in another video if you're interested. Comment below and let me know if you actually want to talk about a NAS drive and how it can actually make your workflow super efficient and productive. I've always dumped all my footage onto the network drive from the iMac so I could access that using this laptop. I did not need a SD card for the laptop itself. But also, I'm just at home right now. I'm not traveling anywhere. I'm not on location. So it doesn't matter so much at this point. But later on, maybe during this year or maybe next year, when I start traveling, that would be a problem. So yes, I feel like that is a big drawback, that there are not enough ports. And I also didn't like the fact that there's no MagSafe connector. So that means one of my USB port is taken away for charging. What I do like is I just now have to carry this one USB-C wire. And it works for a lot of different things. It works for my laptop. It works for my iPad. You might say I'm kind of an Apple fangirl. Maybe. Yes, probably I am. Because I've switched into everything that is Apple. I have an iPhone. I have an iPad. Now I have the MacBook Pro and I have an iMac. So yes, I'm quite in the Apple ecosystem and it helped having same connectors. I still wish they would have put the USB-C on the phone. I do not like the lightning cable on it, but it's a conversation for another day and another video. So when it comes to ports, I hate that there are only 2 ports. Love the fact that they're both USB-C, but hate that they don't have a separate MagSafe connector. And here's another rumor that they might be actually coming out with a MagSafe connector on the new MacBook Pro. So another reason for you all to wait. There's also a question I thought about, but I don't actually use that in my workflow, is if I can connect the MacBook to an external monitor. I don't need a separate external monitor right now because I use my 27-inch iMac as my monitor. But if you do want to connect, there is a caveat. You can only connect one external monitor using the current M1 MacBook Pro. If you have the Mac Mini, you can connect 2 of them, one using the HDMI port and one using the USB-C. But for the MacBook Pro, you can only connect one external monitor. I have not tested it out myself, so I don't know how it would work, but I have read about it. So if you are interested in connecting an external monitor to it, that's something to think about. The next part is quite a bit controversial topic because I've heard extreme views on this, and it was my first experience with it, and that's the touch bar. I have heard people absolutely love it or people absolutely hate it. I thought I was quite neutral on it. There were some things I really liked about it. For example, when you are signing into the computer using Touch ID, it will show you this is the Touch ID. Or if you are typing in something and you are looking for words, it will give you word suggestions, which I thought was quite interesting because normally you don't get that on a Mac. I have also not customized it to any app in the past 2 months because I didn't feel any need to do so. I don't use a lot of the top function keys as part of my workflow, so I didn't miss it. According to some of the news outlets, they are going to be removing the touch bar in the upcoming new MacBook Pro. So if you really don't like the touch bar, that might be another reason for you to wait it out. The next part that I want to talk about is the keyboard. I didn't notice a huge difference in the keyboard because I've never used the butterfly keyboard, which I've heard keyboard that a lot of people hated. The keyboard that I compared this to was from my 2013 MacBook Pro, and I love that one. Apple replaced the butterfly keyboard with a traditional keyboard with scissor mechanism, and people are loving it right now. I cannot tell the difference because I didn't use the butterfly keyboard, so I loved my previous one and I love this one too. So in terms of portability, I feel it is really lightweight and super portable. It is still not the MacBook Air, which I've heard is even lighter than this, but I still love it because it's so portable, tiny. I can just put it in my backpack or even my purse. It would easily fit in a big tote. Look at that, right? Yeah, absolutely amazing. I love how portable it is, and that is one of the big things that has changed in my workflow. I wanted something that I could move around and I'm not stuck to my studio at night, especially when I edit at night. I can move into my living room and watch something as I edit, or I can even edit in my bedroom, and that has changed a lot. A lot of the times I don't want to come back in the studio and sit here, and one of the big reasons why I got this was for the portability, and plus my old one couldn't handle any of the apps, and I feel like that has made a huge difference. So I thought it was worth it, but if you are looking for all of these other apps and you are looking for something faster and a better version, it might make more sense for you to wait it out. I hope this helped you all. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment below and let me know. I would be more than happy to answer and let you know what my experience has been. Thank you so much everyone for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. Bye-bye.